You keep looking at everybody else, watching what they're doing, following their moves, comparing their progress to yours, scrolling through their highlights like it's supposed to be your roadmap. But let me tell you something. You are your greatest investment. Not them, not their life, not their timeline. You. See, the biggest trap most people fall into is thinking their worth is determined by someone else's performance. Like their success somehow reduces yours. Like their wins take something away from what you're building. That's a lie. You don't need to watch nobody else. You don't need to chase nobody else. You need to build you. Let me be real with you. Every single day you wake up, you're either building or you're breaking. You're either pouring into yourself or you're draining your energy watching others win while you wait. And too many people are waiting on perfect conditions, waiting on applause, waiting on a sign. You know what you need to do? You need to go to work on yourself every single day. That means if your mindset is weak, you train it. If your discipline is shaky, you strengthen it. If your habits are holding you back, you break them and replace them. You don't need more followers. You need more focus. You need to stop showing up for the crowd and start showing up for you. Nobody else is responsible for your growth. Nobody else is going to come do the push-ups for you. No one's coming to wake you up early to shut off the distractions, to push you when you're tired. That's your job. And when you start to see yourself as your greatest investment, you stop wasting time trying to be liked and start spending time trying to be legendary. See, when you invest in yourself, you begin to move different. You speak different. You stop settling for average and start chasing excellence. Not for approval, not for recognition, but because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the future version of you that's counting on you to show up with fire in your belly and vision in your eyes. You got to ask yourself, what am I doing with my 24 hours? What am I feeding my mind with? Who am I surrounding myself with? Because if you keep waiting on motivation to show up before you move, you're already lost. Motivation fades, but discipline, that's built through investment, through repetition, through the boring, the hard, the early mornings and late nights when no one's clapping, but you still grind. I'm not telling you to ignore people. I'm telling you to stop measuring yourself by people. You were born original. Stop dying a copy. What makes you great is not how well you imitate someone else. It's how fiercely you commit to becoming the version of you no one's ever seen before. That's the version that changes the game. Your goals, they don't come to life through wishful thinking. They come to life when you show up for yourself when it's not convenient, when you're tired, but you still show up, when you're broke, but you still invest in knowledge, when you're doubting yourself, but you still take the next step. Every time you invest in your growth, you compound it. Every hour you put into learning, every drop of sweat you pour into your craft, every sacrifice you make, that's equity, that's value. You become unstoppable, not because you're the loudest, not because you're the fastest, but because you're committed to the long game, committed to outlasting, outworking, and outgrowing every limitation that ever tried to hold you back. People love to ask, what's the shortcut? I'll give it to you. The shortcut is hard work. The shortcut is building when nobody's watching. It's doing what others won't so you can live how others can't. But you can't fake this. You can't post your way to greatness. You got to grind your way there. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of feeling like everybody else is moving and you're standing still, it's time to shift. Time to take that energy you've been giving to everybody else's life and reinvest it back into your own. Because if you don't bet on yourself, who will? Focus on you. Y'all hear me on this. Comparison is a killer. It don't just slow you down, it shuts you down. You're over here trying to find your rhythm, trying to walk in your purpose, and the whole time your eyes are on somebody else's life, their car, their title, their relationship, their timeline, and you wonder why you feel stuck? Because you're not running your race, you're standing on the sideline watching theirs. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, what's my purpose? Not theirs, not what's trending, not what your family expects, yours. Because until you figure that out, you're always going to be chasing a moving target. And the problem with comparison is that it robs you of your own identity. You start editing yourself to match someone else's version of success, and in the process, you lose the thing that made you powerful in the first place, your authenticity. Listen, we all start at different places. Some people had a head start, some people were born with more. Some people are playing a different game altogether, but that has nothing to do with you. Their wins don't take anything away from yours. Their success is not your failure. Their spotlight is not your darkness. The question is, can you stay committed to your own race, even when it feels like no one's watching? You don't get growth by keeping score with the world, or you get growth by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and you follow through, you grow. You get stronger. You get more grounded. But if you're constantly watching everybody else, you'll break those promises. You'll start second guessing. Am I doing enough? Why don't I have what they have? That voice, that's comparison talking. That's doubt disguised as logic. That's fear dressed up as caution. Let me break it down. You cannot walk into your future while dragging someone else's definition of success behind you. You can't copy your way into greatness. You've got to build it your way, in your time, with your values. That means some seasons are going to feel lonely. That means you're going to have to say no when it's not popular. That means while they're out celebrating, you might be in the lab grinding. But I promise you, the results hit different when they come from alignment, not imitation. There's a power that comes when you stop measuring and start mastering. Mastering your craft, mastering your thoughts, mastering your discipline. That's where confidence is born, not in applause, not in approval, but in private victories. And when you build that foundation, comparison can't touch you. You start to walk different. You start to move like someone who knows they're walking in purpose, not just chasing a trend. You ever notice how plants don't compete with each other? They just grow. They reach for the light. They don't look left and say, why is that one taller? No, they stay rooted and rise. And that's what you need to do. Stay rooted in you. Stop measuring your season by someone else's harvest. Your time will come, but not if you keep pausing your journey to peek over the fence. People will post their wins, but they won't post their wounds. They'll show you the success, but not the suffering. So you're sitting there comparing your real life to their highlight reel, and it's killing your drive. It's making you question the very thing that could elevate you. And I'm telling you right now, you got to turn that noise off. Tune it out. Lock in. If you knew what it cost them to get what they have, you might not even want it. And if they knew the power sitting inside of you, they'd be watching you. But they'll never see it if you don't stop watching them. There's a lane with your name on it, but you're never going to reach it if you keep swerving into someone else's. You can't move forward when you're always looking sideways. You can't build momentum when you're checking every step to see who's ahead. Put your head down, stay in your lane, keep your heart clean and your grind dirty. You don't need to be first. You need to be faithful to the vision, to the process, to you. Stop giving your energy to someone else's movie. This is your script, your life, your assignment. Write it with boldness. Execute it with excellence. Own every part of it, even the slow seasons, even the setbacks, because that's where your strength is born. That's where the story gets real. You don't win by being better than others. You win by being better than you were yesterday. Focus on you. You're never going to hear your calling if your life is full of noise. You want clarity, you want direction, but everywhere you go, it's loud. Social media is loud. People's opinions are loud. The world is loud. And you're wondering why you feel confused, why you feel stuck, why you can't figure out your next move. It's simple. You haven't made space for the whisper. You keep checking your phone every 5 minutes like it's going to give you an answer. You keep watching what everybody else is doing, thinking maybe if you copy their moves, it'll lead you somewhere. But purpose doesn't come from imitation. It comes from intention. You don't need more noise. You need space to sit with yourself, hear your own thoughts, face your own truth. See, we live in a generation that's addicted to distraction. We can't even sit in silence for 5 minutes without reaching for something. And I get it. Silence can be uncomfortable. When it's quiet, the doubts start to speak. The insecurities creep in. The fear gets loud. But that's the exact place you need to go. Because inside that silence is where your true voice lives. Not the voice that wants to please everybody. Not the voice that's been shaped by pressure and people. I'm talking about the voice that was there before the world got to you. That voice. You got to learn to be still. You got to get alone, not lonely, alone. There's a difference. Alone is where you connect with your vision. Alone is where you stop performing and start becoming. Alone is where you get real about what you want, what you believe, and what you're willing to do to get it. You keep asking for answers, but you won't sit still long enough to hear them. You want confirmation, but you're too busy chasing noise. Turn the volume down. Turn the world off. Turn you up. You don't need everyone's input to make your next move. You don't need 100 opinions to validate your vision. You just need alignment. And alignment doesn't happen in the crowd. It happens in the quiet. In the unseen hours, when it's just you and your decisions, you and your mirror, you and your future staring back at you, asking, are you ready to stop pretending and start becoming? I promise you, when you silence the noise, you start hearing your calling clearer than ever before. But you can't just dip in and out of silence like it's optional. No, you have to make it a discipline, a daily commitment to disconnect so you can reconnect with your purpose, with your values, with your identity. You got to understand, not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's going to cheer for your solitude. Some people will think you're acting different, pulling away, doing too much, but you can't explain a vision to someone who's never been quiet long enough to hear their own. You weren't called to fit in. You were called to rise up. And rising takes clarity. Rising takes isolation. Rising takes obedience to what's pulling on your spirit, even when no one else sees it. You think success is found in more noise, more posts, more likes, more attention. But the truth is, some of the most powerful moves are made in the dark. Some of the most life-changing decisions are made when nobody's watching. That's where character is built. That's where courage is tested. That's where legends are forged in silence. Don't run from the quiet. Run to it. That's where strategy lives. That's where your next level is revealed. You've been looking outward for direction when it's been inside you this whole time, but you won't find it until you stop running from yourself. Face it, sit with it, listen. Your calling is not going to compete for your attention. It's not going to fight with your distractions. It's not going to beg for your time. It's patient, it's consistent, it's waiting on you to get serious. To stop letting every voice into your spirit. To stop seeking external noise when the internal truth is enough. Look, there's a reason you feel drained. There's a reason you feel disconnected. Because you've been trying to plug into everyone else's power source instead of developing your own. You've been chasing vibes instead of creating vision. And you can't build a legacy like that. You can't become who you were born to be if you keep outsourcing your power. So what do? You get still. You get focused. You create space, real space, to reconnect with your mission. And you protect that space like your life depends on it, because it does. Everything you're called to be is on the other side of distraction. Everything you're destined to build is on the other side of noise. And everything you've been waiting for is already inside you, just waiting for silence. Focus on you. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants the stage. But let me tell you something. The real work, the real greatness, the kind of legacy that echoes after you're gone, that's not built in the spotlight. That's built in private. While they're performing for the crowd, you're supposed to be building in the shadows. See, too many people are addicted to being seen. They think the value is in the attention. They think if people don't see the grind, it doesn't count. But the truth is, if you need the world to clap for you before you commit, you're not built for the long run. If you need to post every move to feel like it matters, then what you're building isn't rooted. Greatness doesn't start with an audience. It starts with a decision to show up when nobody else is watching. A decision to stay committed when it's quiet. A decision to go to work on the days you feel forgotten. That's what separates the real from the hype. That's what separates builders from talkers. Some of you are trying to build a skyscraper with a foundation built on applause. But when the pressure hits and the likes stop coming and the people stop cheering, what happens? You fall apart. Because the foundation wasn't solid. It was built in truth. It was built in attention. But when you build in private, you build different. You're not chasing validation. You're chasing mastery. You're not focused on being known. You're focused on being effective. And that means waking up early, staying up late, doing the reps, studying the craft, pushing through the doubts in silence. No one sees it. No one celebrates it. But when it's time to show up, you're ready. You don't need the spotlight to be powerful. You just need discipline. You just need consistency. You just need the courage to do the work when no one's looking. That's how legends are made. They don't chase cameras, they chase calling. It's easy to look like a winner when everybody's watching. But what about when you're tired and it's just you and your thoughts? What about when no one believes in the dream but you? That's the moment that matters, because that's where your real strength is born. Not when it's convenient, not when it's popular, when it's necessary. You ever notice how the most dangerous people are the quiet ones? They're not talking. They're not flashing. They're focused. They're locked in. They're making moves in the dark, so when it's time to shine, they don't need to announce it. The results speak for them. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to impact. And impact requires patience. It requires privacy. You have to be willing to be unseen for a season so you can grow without interruption. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, overlooked, counted out, because you know what you're building is bigger than applause. Some of you are in your building season right now. You feel invisible. You feel like nobody sees your effort. Nobody's clapping. Nobody's checking in. And you're tempted to quit because it feels like it doesn't matter. But I'm telling you right now, this is the season that matters most. Because this is the season that's going to separate you from everybody else. This is where your roots go deep. This is where your identity is formed. This is where your voice finds its strength. Don't skip this season. Don't try to rush it just so you can be seen. Because if the spotlight hits before you're ready, it won't bless you. It'll expose you. You have to be developed in the dark so that when the light comes, you don't fold. You stand strong, grounded, unshakable, because you know what it took to get there. You know what it cost, and no one can take that from you. You want legacy? Legacy is built when you keep showing up even when it's not glamorous. Legacy is built when you master your gift behind closed doors. Legacy is built in repetition, in discipline, in sacrifice. When it's boring, when it's lonely, when it's hard. One day they'll ask how you did it. One day they'll call it talent. They'll say you were lucky. But they won't know the mornings you got up early. They won't know the nights you cried yourself to sleep but still worked. They won't know the times you felt like quitting but chose to keep going. That's what legacy is. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's consistent. So keep grinding in the dark. Keep building when no one's clapping. Keep showing up for the vision even if no one else sees it yet. Because when the moment comes, when the light finally hits, it'll be clear. You weren't waiting to be seen, you were preparing to be great. Focus on you.